Today we're exploring the wild with 70 of the most disturbing things ever caught on trail cam footage. From mysterious creatures to eerie encounters, these shocking moments will leave you speechless. Let's dive in. Look closely as something disturbing was captured on footage. No one was able to make it out, and something even more chilling went down. It's quite late at night, and the homeowner has set a trail cam in his backyard. At first, the night seems to be going normal until something small runs past through the backyard silently. It takes barely 2 seconds to blitz out of sight. You would have to look closely to have caught it. A few seconds pass by and an animal, a deer, walks into the clearing in the compound. It's sniffing the ground, possibly for what to eat. It nibbles a few bites off the grass, and suddenly, the deer disappears. Although it looks like bright sunny woods, every animal in there seems to be acting strangely and on edge as something truly disturbing lurks. The big question is, why were they running? It's a sunny day in the woods, and this mother deer and baby deer are together, running, but they stop suddenly. The mother is looking off into the woods suspiciously. Her calf stays behind her. They quickly run from the area, going deeper into the woods. Something small yet terrifying passes where the deer just ran past. On the other side of the woods, the trail cam records as a coyote runs into the woods with something disturbing in its mouth. The coyote encounters something even stranger, and it runs back away from where it was coming from. A wildlife observer had set a trail cam to capture wildlife, but what ended up being recorded was chilling, as each wildlife had a strong reaction as they passed an important road. This beaver is carefully crossing over the stream, walking over a log of wood. When it leaves, a young grouse crosses over it to get to the other side of its stream to meet the other grouse. Both the beaver and grouse are lucky to have left there quickly. As a terrifying force of nature, a black bear walks over the log of wood. A weird-looking swan carefully walks over the log of wood. It takes a step at a time, looking at the flowing stream fearfully. It stops and observes the water closely as its body shows strong signs of fear. In Weymouth Woods State Park, everything seemed calm, but it's far from it as an irresistible force that holds an animal and makes it do the strangest thing. This gray fox stands fearfully on a log of wood. It looks off into the distance. It is silent, but its stare becomes creepy. It stays perched on there for a while, then it shakes its head before leaping to the ground. The fox knows it can't stay where it is anymore. As if in the thrall of something in the woods, it walks carefully through the fallen dead leaves towards what could end up being its end. In this strange woods, a figure creeps through it. Brace yourself as they go about doing something so disturbing with the awareness the cam has caught them. In the middle of nowhere where this trail cam was installed to monitor wildlife, this person suddenly appears. The person's long black coat and red cap hide their identity. They glance towards the trail cam and look away to hide their face. The person steadily walks farther away from the cam's range. The person returns, and it's a man. He walks with a shrug, adjusting the scarf around his neck and coat. He doesn't care for what he has just done in the woods, away from the trail cam. Whatever you think then, you might have to rethink it, as what these animals were going crazy about was more disturbing than you think. After failing to yank something off the tree, a wolf falls back to the ground. It's not the only wolf around the tree. The two wolves circle the tree, their attention locked on something on the tree. Whatever it is, it's attractive to them. One of the wolves leaps up again, battling to bite and pull the meat down. What manner of meat is that, and why is it stuck on the tree? The wolf hangs long in the air, biting hard on the object. It falls futilely to the ground. It stays close to the tree, sniffing the air. The wolf seems determined to get that thing off the tree. Next up, this clip was captured after the trail cam had just been installed. The air itself seemed to suffocate things around the area, but what this rodent did was risky. After buying a trail cam, the man installed it in his yard. Late into the night, the camera captures a rat observing something in the darkness from its hole. It watches for a while, not sure it can leave. Finally, the rat creeps out of its hole. It doesn't take a few seconds, and the rodent goes back to its hole, diving in. The rodent peeks out of its hole again, furiously sniffing the air. Crawling out again, it doesn't stray far from its hole as it searches the area. The man had suspicions something creepy had been going through the woods. The footage captured proved his sneaking suspicion. The trail cam captures a rabbit staying still on a log of wood. Its ears move a bit, but its eyes look dead and empty. The rabbit is strange as its body is puffed up. It holds itself tightly, not relaxed in its habitat. Its nose begins to move, sniffing something coming closer. It raises its head, showing a real reaction for the first time. It brings its body closer and tighter and goes still again. The rabbit might be prepared for whatever is coming rather than running. In a strange turn of events, an animal that ought not to be in this region appears, and what it does would leave you baffled. A badger creeps close to something on the ground that the trail cam can't capture. The badger moves its forelimbs, furiously digging to get at something. Eerily, there is no sound of its actions or otherwise. The grassland is even more quiet. The badger keeps at its actions for a while. After a while, it brings its head up, chewing something, as it observes its surroundings. It returns to digging the ground. Strangely, a woman appears where she ought not to be. Rather than turn back, she did the opposite, and the further she went, the higher the danger. She observes something deep in the woods, and she needs to get to it. However, her path is blocked due to the stream. Not to get herself wet, she walks carefully on the thin log of wood propped over the stream. She wobbles quietly, but seems she might make it. She stops in fear and balances herself. She continues after regaining her balance. She must get to the other side. Her perseverance pays off and she crosses the bridge. Yet what led her into the woods with no one or gear to help her? This next sight will chill and disgust you, so brace yourself as this footage captured a bear in the most unlikely circumstances. Would you pity it? There are a couple of brown bears on this trail, but one of them is far from the pack. The bear walks slowly and sickly. Soon its back is to the trail cam, and something long, slimy, and pink is trailing out of its rectum. The bear does nothing about it, walking towards a locked bridge. The bear stands at the edge of the wooden shaft looking out into the water. It stays there for a while, obviously sad while the thing is still in its rectum and far from other bears. Something is on its mind, but it turns back from doing it. Now in a woods with a cabin housing some occupants, their trail cam luckily captures a disturbing occurrence that would change the course of events to come. It's late at night, and the humans who had set the trail cam are not aware an opossum has entered the yard in their cabin. The rodent finds a couple of strange objects on a log of wood. It nibbles at one of them. The opossum eats whatever it is, and it will likely go on to eat the rest, but it's also likely the cabin occupants had prepared what it's eating to capture the opossum. The trail cam had typically captured wildlife, but this time around, when snow and chill filled the woods, the cam captured an unexpected and bone-chilling sight. It's snowy in the woods, but strange of all is this person who can't be past his early teens in a creepy bodysuit walks alone. The person's bodysuit gives off an eerily disturbing vibe due to its design and the little peek holes for the eyes. He runs up the trail. The woods fall back into silence. This leaves everyone with a strange disquiet at what the person is doing and why they are in the woods alone without supervision. Out of all the options available to the badger mole, it weighed each one, seeing danger on all sides. Its safety can't last as danger encroaches on it. This badger mole stands in a spot in a clearing in the woods. The mole is hesitant to go into the darkness, far from the trail cam. It looks to the right, then hastily turns to the left to look towards that direction. The animal is on edge about something out there. Finally, it faces somewhere to the right. It still doesn't look like it would be leaving the clearing. The most it does is edge out of the clearing, sticking its head into the shrub, but it won't leave. A mystery boggled the origin of strange, goosebump-worthy objects. The trail cam captured a close-up of what this might mean. The trail cam records this water shrew as it flits about a wooden surface with empty, strange-looking husks. The husks' origin can't be determined, and it is of much interest to the shrew. On closer inspection, they are caddis fly cases. Yet, it's a mystery as to how they got there. The shrew leaves when it is done inspecting it, and escapes quickly. The caddis fly cases lie on the wooden surface, but there is still no way to trace how they got there. When this trail cam was set, it was to capture squirrels on the trail, but something else appeared. It does the oddest thing, more frightening than any squirrel. While the world is asleep, this pine marten creeps around the trail. Its head is close to the ground, sniffing and slowly inching forward. After a few steps forward, it abruptly raises its head in alert and suspicion. It seems it is looking at the trail cam. Rather, it's something behind it. The pine marten slinks away to the edge of the clearing. It then changes its route and walks back the way it came. Yet the odd smell on the ground stops it. It smells it again, leading it to the side of a tree. This next clip shows a mysterious figure in the woods. It had been causing the observer to live in fear and suspicion for a while. When finally caught on camera, its actions were truly creepy. The trail cam was previously destroyed. The observer feels something is wrong in the woods. He set another trail cam. Some hours later, the cam captures a black bear edging into the clearing. The bear slowly scoops the area, smelling something, probably the observer's scent in the air. The bear has its back turned to the cam, but it looks back with humane suspicion in its eyes. It looks away, walking forward with uncharacteristic slowness. The bear is almost out of the clearing, but it can't seem to leave. It looks back again suspiciously. The homeowner had noticed something strange happening in the woods near his home. He installed a trail cam, but what he saw was far more chilling than the snow in the woods. The trail cam records a seemingly still snowy night in the woods. While everything looks normal, observe as something small sits in the middle of the snow. It looks inanimate, almost ceramic. The strangest thing is that the object stays put, not moving. While the object stays there, out of the blue, something white and ghost-like appears in the lens of the trail cam, obscuring its view. A few deers saw nothing wrong as they entered a spot in the woods, but a while later they had to leave. But what could have scared them? A couple of deers walk cautiously around these dead woods. One of the deers, the bigger one, is more observant, smelling the leaves while the younger ones come closer to the dead trees. The deers get close to the trail cam, but their attention isn't on it. They are on edge, sniffing the air suspiciously. Something dangerous is coming towards them. The older deer immediately takes off, running into the woods to get away from the incoming danger. The smaller deer follow the bigger deer in haste. Soon, a male deer inches closer to the clearing. Alone, it sniffs the air, smelling something ominous. Normally, the trail cam captured more tame sightings, but then something quite dangerous decides to use the trail. The observer is expecting something smaller to cross the path, but on this eventful day, a large predator, a cougar, crosses the trail. This is not the predator's normal trail. The unexpected appearance might be due to something going up on the mountain. The clip has been slowed down, and you can see the power contained in the cougar's body. It's capable of protecting itself and causing much damage, yet it can't protect itself from whatever sent it down the mountain. The trail cam was placed in a clearing in a garden in this homeowner's home. Something crawled through the garden, letting them know they might be in more danger than they imagined. In the clearing surrounded by shrubs, a grass snake cautiously crawls forward. It's timid, sniffing the air with its tongue as it crawls further into the shrubs. The snake crawls at a snail's pace, but what will catch your attention is how long the snake's body is considering how small it is. It melts into the shadows, leaving only a sense of dread in its wake. For days now, a man heard strange sounds around his cabin in the woods. On this fateful night, the trail cam records a weird sight. It looks like an emaciated homunculus riding on the back of a boar. This frightening apparition's eyes are on the trail cam, knowing it's being recorded. This sighting is nothing the man could have envisioned as he slept in his cabin. The following day, while it's still bright out, another strange creature peeks directly at the trail cam. Its eyes are strangely human. There's awareness in its eyes of what the camera is. While the wild turkeys were resting, a disturbing presence appeared amidst them, and their reactions were strange, to say the least. Deep into winter, these wild turkeys are running helter-skelter through the woods. Something is frightening them. What stands out is that one turkey stands motionless by a tree, frozen in fear. It seems unbothered by the chaos the other birds are facing. The turkey keeps its pose while the others flutter around in panic at something they can't see but feel in the cold air. The panicked flight of the others is a desperate attempt to escape. Whatever it is, it's too close to the trail cam, and whatever it's doing, it's certainly up to no good. Something is close to the trail cam, obscuring the footage. The thing is oddly hairy. Slowly it moves, revealing a bit more of its bulk. It won't leave the cam alone, and neither can its full form be captured. It moves away from the trail cam. It's a four-legged tall animal, but there are two present. It's misty in the woods, adding to the strangeness of the situation. One of the animals approaches the trail cam again. It then sniffs and licks the camera. The moose was in the right place, but at the wrong time. However, despite its fear, it knew it must do something else. Something precious would be lost. In a strange turn of events, the trail cam captures a moose in a shallow pond. There is also a wolf at the bank, hiding in the shrubs. The moose sees it, not the least bit deceived. The moose gets close to the wolf and makes a fake charge at the wolf. The wolf scampers off. The moose has a calf it's trying to protect. The mother moose watches the wolf retreat, ensuring its calf is protected and safe in the water. Hitting close to home, a homeowner's trail cam captured what can happen when precautions aren't taken. A hawk might just be on its last straw before the worst happened. Far from the sky, this Cooper's hawk has strangely found itself on the ground. It stands in a spot, taking in its surroundings. The trail cam is in a homestead, and the hawk, unable to fly away, begins to walk fearfully on the ground. It stops, looking beyond the stone facade into the woods. The hawk knows something is out there in the sky that can and will get it. On the surface, everything presented itself to be at peace. Yet, when this unsuspecting animal tried to leave, it realized too late that appearances can be deceiving. A deer quietly eats in the woods, not aware the trail cam is recording it. The deer seems at ease in the environment and walks about looking for its next meal. The deer walks towards the woods but abruptly changes its path, going a different way. Still, something else is on that path, blocking the way. It runs the other way again, risking its life to escape. The homeowners left the home, but in their absence, the trail cam recorded what took their place in the home. This home is in the woods with a trail cam set to monitor what happens when they are away. As expected, an animal passes by the house. It stays close to the house, watching the woods with its tail wagging nervously. The animal looks at the home longingly, preferring to be in there than outside. Knowing it can't stay any longer, it leaves. In a calm, beautiful garden, a menacing presence creeps through it with one goal in mind. A pitch-black menace creeps into this homeowner's garden. The animal, small and stocky, gets under the shade that had been created. There are some plates in front of a box dog cage. The animal sits in front of it, scratching its ear. The animal climbs up the cage and smells the food in the bowl. The bowl and its contents lie untouched. The animal walks past it. It enters the cage and then turns back to sniff the food. For this next one, hold your breath. On this strange trail, a black bear encountered something even more monstrous. Can you make it out? A massive black bear stops in the middle of the trail, jumping up angrily trying to catch something. It fails and collapses to the ground. The bear still moves, showing it's alive, but that isn't enough. It can't stand, struggling to move where it is. The trees are obscuring the bear and the trail, making it hard to make out what the bear is going through. Strange ducks caught on a trail cam. The water presents a challenge, and they must find a way out. But that would be hard considering their situation. Above all odds, this duck is swimming against the current. A second duck is stuck in debris in the stream. The ducks aren't too far from the shore, but they are fighting against the current of the stream. The duck stops fighting against the current and swims with it till it gets out of the range of the trail cam. The second duck frees itself out of the debris and swims after the other duck. What ought to be a cute sight will chill you to your bones. A raccoon is caught in a dire situation. What will become of it? The trail records this raccoon looking out into the oppressive darkness in fear. It sees something chilling that keeps it rooted to a spot. The raccoon makes a sad, wailing yowl before running away from sight into the darkness. The raccoon returns with another raccoon in tow. It sniffs the ground close to the trail cam, while the other one checks a circular construction in front of it. They stay close to the light for safety. This observer never expected to see such a sad sight. A lone wolf is said to be quite dangerous, and this case is going to keep you guessing. This trail cam is in front of the homeowner's cabin. It captures a wolf walking soberly through the woods. Something is wrong with the wolf. It's alone and seems lost in the woods. The wolf keeps its head low, searching for whatever can fill it up. The wolf has to find where to rest its head before it gets dark. It stands no chance alone. Two deers experience the same frightening thing. Describing it would be hard as the experience is truly out of a ghost story. The deer is walking past the clearing, but it's strange how cautious it is. It steps lightly and shyly while looking at something behind the trail cam. Not willing to stay there any longer, it moves along. Something moves in the darkness beyond the light. Another deer, a male deer by the looks of it, stands frozen in front of the trail cam. It also looks at something in front of the camera. A small white orb floats around in front of the camera. The deer walks away, and the orb follows it. Top predators can also become prey, but this disturbing clip would not have been gotten if not for favorable circumstances. Observe as things unfold. On this trail, a mountain lion appears and comes close to the trail cam. It sniffs it, wondering what the camera is, its breath misting the camera's glass. Other mountain lions join the first one. They stay around the camera, close to the light. Looking closely, in the woods, hidden behind some shrubs, glowing eyes are observing the animals, and they do not know this. This strange clip will have you questioning what was actually happening. The animals were just trying to live, but that wouldn't be enough. The deer looks at the trail cam, the light shining directly into its eyes. The deer is enraptured by what it is seeing. The deer behind it now stands beside it, also looking directly at the camera despite the light. The deers seem to have broken out of the trance and are going about their business. Yet, one of them comes closer to the camera, sniffing it. After smelling it and getting nothing, it turns it back. These woods have to be the weirdest, as the animals might be dealing with certain possessions. From the birds to the deer, everything is in shambles. The hawk is surrounded ominously by 5 crows. The crows watch the hawk eat out of a carcass. They can't attack the hawk, but they try to intimidate it, but the hawk does what it wants. Later in the night, on the other side of the woods, the trail cam records a deer watching another deer approaching it. The approaching deer has its ears pressed back against its head. The deers almost engage in a fight. Two unrelated events might become connected if the bear found what it searched long and hard for. In the pouring rain, these two people arrive in the woods. They set their dog out to sniff the trail. They follow the dog, looking unperturbed. Their black rain jumpsuits make them look more menacing than usual. What are they after? Still in the same woods, this humongous brown bear trudges through the woods. It sniffs the ground and moves slowly. There's a smell it's following, a prey or human. It's hard to determine. What is lurking in the woods when you aren't looking? When you look, what you might see would set your heart racing. Try not to scream seeing this. A hairy black figure stays in the woods by a tree. The trees provide enough shade to hide its truly monstrous figure. It creepily looks at the trail cam. Suddenly, it moves. Its next action is still unknown. The beast rises to its full height, and in a shocking display of strength, it yanks a log of wood easily. Then it throws out another log of wood. This display of strength is meant to frighten the observers. The homeowner was hearing strange sounds from their shed. The trail cam they set up captured the sad and disturbing sight. The abandonment will hurt you more. This hedgehog gets out of the shed and looks about for a way out. The trail cam captures it walking into the shrubs. However, there is another hedgehog in the shed. It might be shy or afraid of leaving the shed. The other hedgehog is still in the shed while the other one has not returned for it. That is its mother who just left it. No figure shows in the clip, but that's what makes it frightening. The chilling sounds will shock you because what you can't see might be more frightening than what you see. Deep into the night, a creepy, wet chewing sound is being recorded by the trail cam. Something is nearby and eating. Whatever it's eating is left to the imagination. Out of the blue, a shrieking, childlike cry pierces through the night sky. The cries continue, sounding short and disjointed. The wet chewing sound continues regardless of the cries. The observers went out to camp, and suddenly dozens of mysterious things appeared to them. What they are can only be left up to the imagination. The camera tracks strange, glowing objects in the sky. It might be birds, but that is not certain. The dark sky makes it hard to make anything out, and the flying objects are silent. The camera zooms out, and it captures a dozen of those flying things. They buzz around in the air, strangely carrying on with whatever they are doing. Some deers walk about a clearing, looking harmonious, but something sticks out like a sore thumb. It's strange and wrong. Don't be deceived. The deers are passing a piece of land with shallow water. However, the second deer is a piebald doe. The white patch on its underbelly looks beautiful, but is believed to be a bad sign and must never be hunted. The deer at the front walks forward, but the piebald doe stays motionless. It observes its surroundings. It moves forward while looking at something in the water. Moving on to these sunny woods, it suddenly becomes not so beautiful when something old and primal appears. The revelation would leave you on the edge of your seat. A giant monstrosity creeps around in the woods silently, but the trail cam records it. The shrubs in its path obscure the figure a bit. The monster seems to know it's being recorded. It tries to slink away. The beast seems to have gone further into the woods. It returns with a log of wood in its hands. It raises it and smashes it on the side of a tree. The sound of the collision echoes ominously in the quiet woods. Now and then, something strange is caught on a trail cam. Nevertheless, when stranger things happen, it's hard to chalk it up to random chance. It's dead at night, so dark but for the minimal light coming from the trail cam. Nothing moves, being awfully still. Like a snap, an animal zips past the trail cam in haste. Barely a second later, another animal runs past the trail camera. Either something is causing those two animals great fear, or it's chasing them. However, it's strange that no sound comes out of either animal. Moving away from the woods, we arrive in Philadelphia, where things ought to be better. But when two birds appeared on the trail, things went downhill fast. In this home's backyard, these two crows flit about nervously. One of the crows edges out of sight while the other one stays, looking apprehensive. The crow stretches and suddenly lets out a sharp, piercing caw. The other crow lets out an ululating sound, adding a weird mix of sounds to the area. This is a clip of another lone wolf, and this promptly went sideways fast. This wolf had no other choice. While the trail cam records a seemingly serene night trail, a wolf walks out from behind the trail cam. It edges forward, hoping to get into the darkness. It stops at the edge of the trees, observing the darkness ahead of it. The wolf sees something frightening in the trail it watches. It takes off in the opposite direction. The darkness doesn't change, and what hides in the darkness doesn't appear. The trail cam captured a disturbing sight that will also strangely put you in awe of what you see. Speculations about what you see are warranted. The observer set the trail cam on a public land, and the clip shows the back half of a creature. The animal is pure white without any spots. By the looks of it, it might be an albino creature. The animal walks away, leaving the site of the trail cam. Nothing stirs in the open field, and the albino animal doesn't reappear. Whatever could have happened on this road did happen. The strange encounter made it hard for both parties involved to act, especially one of them. This strange encounter is one for the books. The deers meet a couple of wild turkeys on the road. The turkeys won't move and the deers stay still, watching the turkeys. The deers edge off the road into the woods, but it looks like they want to take the road. The turkeys make their claim clear, and the timid deers allow it to happen. A family living in their cabin in the woods heard raucous in their yard and installed a trail cam. The cam recorded a uniquely disturbing sight that is rarely encountered. It's a windy night, but through this, a bigger raccoon with a slightly smaller raccoon cub in its mouth crawls through the woods. The raccoon reaches the edge of the trail cam site and jumps with the cub in its mouth. The wind picks up and nothing else moves through the woods. However, the two raccoons that just passed are strange enough, as raccoons aren't known to carry their young that way, especially once they are that big. In the woods somewhere in Oregon, this trail cam captured an intriguing video of two birds. Still, pay close attention as the birds do something weird. These two birds are pecking the ground. It's dry, and there is no food there for either of them. More so, the species of the birds is weird. Soon, one of the birds flies away and the other one stays jumping around several spots, still looking for food. The second bird, rather than leave, continues its meaningless search around the dry, empty spot for food. Thereafter, it jumps away from the trail cam's site. Now in Georgia, this observer's trail cam recorded a strange sighting that puzzled him. What he saw shouldn't be the case, but the footage is real. In the middle of the night on a deserted road, an animal, probably a wolf or a coyote, quickly walks past. The light from the trail cam and the full moon aren't enough to make out its identity. Moreover, in this bleak time of night, everything looks terrifying. The darkness beyond the light and the trees on the other side of the road. A couple of seconds later, another animal runs after the first animal. It's slow and looks injured. After moving into a new home, the new homeowner discovered a trail cam and saw something that lives in the woods near the house. What could he have done? An animal comes up close to the camera to observe it. It's a strange-looking animal with a weird nose shape and an even stranger-looking beard under its neck. The animal moves away from the camera. This heavy-set animal moves further away from the camera, showing its full bulk. What's strange is also its lack of a tail. The light might be a comfort to the animal, as it doesn't leave the range of the camera. A dangerous predator stalked the night. Never would anyone have known if the trail cam hadn't captured this footage. This is a street with a trail cam set on a tree. Looking further, you will see lights from other homes on the street. Closer to the trail cam, an animal is creeping closer by the edge of the bush. The animal climbs up the side of the hill. It's a tiger. It stalks closer to the trail cam, still silent and menacing. It leaves the vision of the cam but then hits the cam, making it turn to capture more of it. It walks away in frustration. The cam's light is interfering with its hunting. There are certain situations you shouldn't be in alone. This man had an all too unpleasant experience that would send chills down your back. The man just moved into the cabin in the woods. He returns from town with some package, which he is taking out of his mini truck. The package looks too heavy to be carried alone, but he still does it. As he brings the package out of the car, a sharp pain in one of his legs brings him to the ground. He sets the package aside, rolling on his side while his right leg lies almost useless. He just ripped his hamstring and the pain must be excruciating. Moreover, he's alone. Crossing over to Queensland, Australia, the footage revealed hidden events. On this sunny afternoon, this reptilian, known as an eastern water dragon, ambles quietly through the clearing. Its long serpentine tongue flickers out to catch the scent in the air. Strangely, its bowel looks distended. A regular old lizard passes through the same path the water dragon just took. It stays rooted to a spot, sensing the danger ahead and wisely not following. While sleeping in his home, something disturbing and dangerous, almost humanoid, makes its way towards him. What would become of him? This is a private property, and something humanoid walks closer into the light from the trail cam. It's late at night and the property owner is asleep, unaware of what is stalking his property. The humanoid creature is oddly tall, pale, and with elongated limbs typically not seen on humans. It has a skirt on, covering its lower section, and it marches past the trail cam with its arms flailing about. The observers never expected the trail cam to have recorded this unusual sight. Once you see it, you will be tempted to save the beast in the footage. In a shocking turn of events, a corgi, a dog that ought to be anywhere else but the woods, is stuck in a dirty pool of water. The corgi isn't trying to get out, but it looks about in distress. Probably the mud in the water has latched onto the corgi's feet. Viewers might have just been deceived as the corgi moves about in the muddy water and easily gets out of it. The right question to ask now is what brought it here and why. He was just out for a hike on a trail, but he encountered a nightmare that would be after his life. The observer is walking down a wooden path on a trail. He notices something moving in the bush and records it. The beast is thoroughly hidden by the vegetation, but its ears show as it shakes them. He doesn't get close, but zooms in close enough to see what it is. The beast then sits upright, revealing it to be a black bear. This is a dangerous situation for him. This beautiful yet strange encounter will touch you deeply. It shows that kindness can go a long way even for cats. This beautiful cat is a stray. It comes around the area looking for food. A kind homeowner has been leaving food out for it, encouraging it to return. With the stray cat's flighty nature, the trail cam became the only way for footage of the cat to be obtained. Although the cat eats with relish, it can't help but look out warily into the darkness. There could be something there watching it. Vultures all over the world are seen as ominous creatures, and these vultures live up to their reputation. These two vultures land in a deserted part of the woods. One of them in particular has its wings spread out. It walks back and forth and around the other vulture. Weirdly, they are silent, adding to the creepiness of the situation. The vulture jumps on the back of the other one, trying to mount it. The mounted vulture pecks the vulture, forcing it down. A rare and disturbing sighting found its way into a trail cam footage. The land the beast is on will prove fatal to its existence. It's a windy night, and particles are flying about in the air. A rare red fox that ought to be in hiding is currently in a field. It digs into the ground, looking for something. The fox leaps about a spot. There is something of interest to it in that piece of land. Some dangerous things can happen to the fox with it out in the open, as the field it's on is a game trail. This trail cam's footage is quite different from the rest due to the unusual nature of things in the woods. The deer is in search of food, coasting by the trail cam. Although the woods look full of foliage, there is little food available for it. Another deer takes the same trail, finding it hard to eat. It just observes a spot in the woods. This animal's identity is unknown, but what we know for sure is that it's eating directly under the trail cam. What exactly it's eating is debatable. For days now, livestock and other valuables have gone missing on the farm. After getting a trail cam, everything comes to light. A small and fast creature runs past the trail cam in the dead of night. The woods are close to a farmhouse raising livestock, and this creature is an enigma. No other creature passes by again, but that doesn't mean there aren't others around. This lucky recording might be the evidence to solve the mystery on the farm. In the woods somewhere on the southeast coast of Australia, a strange sound keeps the observers up in wonder. In the woods in Australia, the trail cam records a creepy, croaky sound coming from an unknown creature or beast. The sound carries far from where it is being produced. The observers wonder what is making that sound. The sound continues strongly till the footage ends. What are your thoughts about the sound? Living in the woods is dangerous. Who knows what could visit you even during the daytime? A huge brown bear bursts out of the woods into a private property. The trail cam set to keep watch on the house, and the appearance of the bear sniffing the human scents around the house spells doom for them. The bear leaves the range of the trail cam, leaving its next actions up to speculations. In the middle of the night, two strange creatures unknowingly revealed themselves. A gray fox creeps into the backyard of this homeowner. The fox stops what it's doing and looks back into the dark bushes it just came out of. The fox goes back to sniffing around the ground, and suddenly another gray fox walks out of the darkness, also sniffing the ground. They are in desperate need of food. A pair of mysterious eyes might have brought an end to a kind heart. The darkness all around the woods pressed closer and harder than before. A deer is just by the side of the trail cam. It walks out, showing itself. Ahead, behind some trees, a pair of glowing eyes watch the deer. The eyes move erratically. The dark figure that owns the eyes hides itself more. The deer is suspicious, watching out for what that might be. Raising its tail in caution and fear, it walks toward the trees carefully. After going to bed, something from the woods decided to pay a visit. A small, emaciated-looking animal breaks into a family's compound. It circles the yard, smelling the ground suspiciously. The animal might be a fox or some other rarer species, but what is it doing out of the woods? It runs along, leaving the range of the camera. The family is asleep throughout this situation.